Now, Bipin Chandra Pal was born in Sylhet, which is now, of course, in Bangladesh. He was known as the father of the revolutionary thought in India. He started his political career as a reformer and was attached to the Brahmo Samaj. Please make a note of it, Brahmo Samaj. Now, he visited a number of European countries and the US, and it was during these visits he observed how people resisted foreign domination, and that is how he joined the Indian National Congress. So when he went abroad, he saw that people were outrightly trying to oppose the domination on them, and that is what gave him also the idea that why can't we have these kind of systems existing in our place and in our country rather against the British. So when he came back, he joined the Indian National Congress. Now, as far as his contributions are concerned, he worked as a journalist for Bengal Public Opinion, the Tribune, and New India, from where he used to bring out his propagate his ideas of nationalism into the minds of the people. He was also required to give testimony against Aurobindo Ghosh, and for which he definitely refused, and then he was put into prison for 6 months. Now, national education was something which we give him credit for. He wanted national education to be the basis of the freedom movement because that would arouse nationalistic passions and become an effective instrument for social progress. Bipin Chandra Pal also wanted to remove social and economic evils from the society, because see, if your society is not rid of the social and the economic evils, then there cannot be any kind of a progress, because economically, politically, socially, and religiously, these evils have to be rid of the society, then only you can move ahead on the path of development. So he put a lot of efforts as far as the evils of the society was concerned, thereby opposing the caste system and the rigid rules regarding interdining and intermixing. Now, interdining and intermixing meant that people of different castes were not allowed to mingle around with each other, nor could they sit and share their meals. So he was quite against this kind of a philosophy as to why intermingling and interdining is not allowed. He also advocated a widow remarriage and stressed on the need to develop indigenous industries in the country. Indigenous word, you understand that we would be developing our own industries and our own local regions, and insisted on the use of Swadeshi boycott of foreign goods so that we could eradicate poverty and unemployment. Automatically, when we have our own industries coming up, people would be employed, and once people are employed, then it helps in eradicating the poverty, because people would be bringing home money. He also did not believe in the main form of protest like a non-cooperation with the government. So he felt that this non-cooperation movement or this kind of boycott in a very mild manner would not allow us to gain our freedom as far as the British were concerned. So to establish equality in the society, he wanted to tax the rich more heavily than the poor. Basically, what he was trying to bring home was that you should be taxed as far as your economic ability and capacity is concerned. The economic students would agree with me that in economics, have you read about these taxes and all?
Ma'am, we have
Not yet.
But
Not
we
yet.
have it.
But
Like,
in our day-to-day lives also, if you see, if you are observant enough and if you listen to what is happening in the world, when it comes to taxation, people are taxed as far as their income and salary is concerned, as far as the bracket of the salary is there. It's not that there's a simple rule that okay, everybody would be taxed 30% on the salary. No, people who are earning less salary, some people are taxed as 5%, some people are taxed at 10%, some are into the 20%, and some are into the 30%. So the whole aim is to generate revenue depending on the earning capacity of the person. It's not that there's one guideline that everybody comes under one bracket. So he was the one who in those days wanted to bring in this kind of a system where they said that the rich should pay more than what the poor has to pay, because the poor doesn't have the capacity to pay that. So I think he was very revolutionized as far as his ideas was concerned. He also demanded 48 hours of work in a week and an increase in the wages of the people. So he said that the working hours should be streamlined and it should not be more than 48 hours a week when somebody is working, and there should be an increase in the wages of the people as well. Any doubts? I don't think so there should be any doubt because these are very simple contributions. The last of our assertive nationalists for whom we have to read about in the lesson is about Lala Lajpat Rai. His time period was 1865 to 1928. He was born on 28th January and he passed away on 17th of November. Now he's also known as a leader in the Indian independence movement and known as Punjab Kesari or Sher-e Punjab. Please mark these words. As far as his career was concerned, he was a lawyer, a writer, an enlightened educator, social reformer, and a staunch fighter against the British rule. He was born in Dudike, Jagrao in Punjab, was influenced a lot by the Arya Samaj movement, and Lord Curzon's ruthless measures forced him to fight the British rule through mass education. He joined the Congress, please underline the date, in 1888 and continued there till his last day. He, however, joined the assertive nationalists in 1907. Lala Lajpat Rai supported the workers' movement, and in 1920, in fact, he became the first president of the All India Trade Union Congress. So mark this date, 1920, for All India Trade Union Congress. He was the first Indian who linked imperialism with capitalism.
Okay.
As far as his contributions are concerned, he was an educationist and a forceful writer. When he was in the US, he started a monthly magazine called as Young India. The whole aim of starting this magazine was to spread the message of the attainment of Swaraj. And the publications, the important ones were A Call to Young India, England's Debt to India, and The Political Future of India. He founded Punjabi, Vande Mataram, and People. These were the weeklies, English weeklies, and the Urdu dailies that he founded, and also wrote a book on national education. Now, Lala Lajpat Rai was also a social reformer and was associated with the Arya Samaj. In fact, he was instrumental in the expansion of the DAV college at Lahore. If you remember, in my last lesson, I had discussed and I had told you about the establishment of these national schools and colleges and institutions, and I had mentioned DAV.
Yes.
Yes. So he was instrumental in the expansion of that same DAV college, which is still in Lahore, in fact, in the year 1886. Along with that, he also opened orphanages, hospitals, and schools. And another important contribution of his was setting up of the Servants of the People's Society for the welfare of the downtrodden and outcast. So he was a great social reformer who used to always empathize with the lowest strata of the society, with the masses who were very downtrodden and who were considered as outcasts. So he provided a lot of help and support to them. When he went abroad, his idea was to mobilize the opinion in favor of India's freedom struggle. So when he went to America in 1914, he joined the Ghadar Party, and through his writings of Young India, he inspired the people to join the national movement against the British. When Simon Commission, we'll be discussing about Simon Commission. So when Simon Commission came to India in 1928, that time during the protest, he was injured in a lathi charge, and unfortunately, he succumbed to those injuries and passed away on 17th of November 1928. In fact, on the day when he was wounded, he said that the lathi blows inflicted on me would prove someday as nails in the coffins of the British rule in India. Can anybody tell me what these lines said by Lala Lajpat Rai mean? Wait, I will ask Siddhant.
Yes, ma'am.
The last line which is visible on the screen. Can you please explain it to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Declare that loose from. Ma'am, this means that Lala Rajpat Rai was sort of fed up with the British.
Fed up with the British? No. Who will tell me?
Me. Can I try?
Who's this?
Me, Athar.
Okay, yeah, sure, Athar. Great to hear
He
you.
said that the Lathi charge would be the last thing the British would ever do,
Hmm.
I guess, and it will be the the last thing they'll do before they retreat, I guess.
Anyone else?
But that's what he said. Oh wait, he proved from there.
Melissa?
Ma'am, he's saying that the blows he took by the British will someday prove as the fall of the empire.
Come again?
The lathi blows that he took from the British will prove as the fall of their.
Yes, very rightly said. Dhruv, please expand on this point.
It may even mean like that this might be the last death that the British have caused due to lathi charge.
Hmm.
And then like if they do lathi charge again, the people will get like aggressive and all.
Anyone else wants to give a try before I explain?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, a coffin is mostly made of wood and it needs nailed to be completed fully. So the lathi blows which was inflicted on Lala Lajpat Rai, they would act like those nails on a coffin which would join the coffin and
Put an end to?
and in that coffin the fallen British Empire would be there.
See, what it basically means here is that this act of the British would now, allow the Indians to think that enough is enough and no more of this would be accepted. This domination of the British will not be accepted. And this episode will bring in all the Indians together on a common platform where they will raise up against the British. And after this, we will move our national movement with such a fervor and enthusiasm that this will be the last time that they try to put anybody down, and after this it will be the end of the British rule in the country. That's what it basically meant. Okay?
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, ask me.
Ma'am, above that, I will declare that thing on the left side founded the Hindu Orphan Relief. May you explain that little bit?
Okay, founded the Hindu Orphan Relief Movement in 1897 to keep the Christian missions from securing custody of the children. You want to know about this?
Yes.
Okay. If you remember, we were insisting upon, now by when I say we means the Indians at that time, they were insisting on nationalism being developed and national education and boycott of the British institutions.
Yes.
Yes. So when he realized that people were, if you remember, people were also converting to Christianity.
Yes, for incentive the land
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
inherit.
So he organized and founded this relief movement whereby they said that now all the children basically who were the orphans and all would not go into the custody of the Christians, because then the Christian missionaries would convert them into Christianity. So if we have an organization which takes care of our own Hindu or non-Christian population and who are orphans, then these children would be taken care of, and then there is no need for them to get lured to be converted into the other religion. So that is why he founded this kind of a movement where there will be people who would be helping out the Hindu orphans and taking care of the children and keeping them under their custody rather than the Christian missionaries keeping these children under their custody and then converting them to Christianity finally. Clear?
Understood.
I think
Yes.
there's a need to say that that only applies for that time.
Yes, obviously. I don't think so. This is happening right now.
That's what.
Okay.
No, but
Any
it's
other
not
doubt
like
anybody
needed.
has?
No,
Ma'am, I
ma'am.
have a doubt.
Tell me, Simar.
Ma'am, page number 53.
Just a second.
Oh, Lala Lajpat Rai.
Yes. Page
All
53.
yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
Ma'am, it's written All India Trade Union Congress.
Okay, yes. So you want to know what's an All India Trade Union?
Yeah.
May I?
I think we did something like that in grade 8, if I'm not mistaken, when we were discussing about the Industrial Revolution and industries
Yeah.
coming out.
Guilds.
Yes,
Ma'am, it was workers' union.
workers' union. So the workers' union is the same thing which was established in India, which was known as the All India Trade Union. So basically, all the traders and all the workers, they came together on a common platform where there would be somebody to
Listen to
their
them.
grievances together, put for their benefit all the points, and then move ahead in a very systematic and a formal way. So that is how these trade unions were established. So bring everybody on a common platform and address their grievances and concerns, and not to and to avoid exploitation of these people. That's what it was basically established.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, any other doubt? No doubt today?
No.
No, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, how many chapters will we have for the UT?
Well, very smartly asked question. Right now, let's have. You want to have the UTs virtually?
No, ma'am. No.
Open
No,
book test?
no ma'am.
No.
Yes,
ma'am.
Then
Yes, ma'am.
let's
No,
not
ma'am.
have an
No.
open
focus
book
on the
test. We
unit
have
test. Let's
Google.
focus on the syllabus and its completion. So that if timely completion is done, then we can, revise it properly with a lot of worksheets and written work and all doubts to be clear. Don't worry about when the unit test will be done. You will be informed in any case. So let's join back school physically, and then only we have all these. Okay. Now I'll be posting the worksheets for you all to do. As a quick glance, for chapter at glance, please do these important things. Go through the question answers.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we will be moving ahead. I think your next class now is on Monday.
Yes.
Yes.
We didn't get the timetable.
Yes, I'll give you ample amount of time to finish with all your written work. Please sort out if you have any doubts. And after that only, then we move on to our next chapter, which is the Muslim League.
So, are you doing civics anytime soon?
Come again, Aditya.
Are we doing civics anytime soon?
Civics
Yeah.
also we will be doing. Yes.
First chapter, right? The Union Parliament.
Yes. As and when we start with civics, we will be doing that. But right now, I want to concentrate more on history, please. Okay.
When might our school start?
Anyone has any doubt? No doubts?
Ma'am.
Yes, Arya.
Ma'am, the project work, the research material is ready. So how